What if I told you there's a man who sat in the same spot for 20 years without moving, without eating, without even breathing like a normal human? People thought he found peace, but the truth? He found something far more dangerous, something that slowly erased his humanity. And the worst part? Someone went to meet him and came back with a warning no one can explain. In a quiet village surrounded by dense forests and whispering winds, there lived a man no one truly understood. His name was Veer. 20 years ago, he walked into the forest and never came back. At least, that's what people believed. But the truth was far stranger. Veer wasn't always a mystery. He used to be like everyone else, smiling, talking, dreaming. But something changed after the night his entire family died in a sudden accident. The village said it was fate. Veer called it silence. After the funeral, he stopped speaking. Days passed, then weeks. One morning, without saying a word, he walked into the forest carrying nothing but a mat. No food, no water, no plan. The villagers thought he had lost his mind. But deep inside the forest, Veer sat beneath an ancient banyan tree, closed his eyes, and began to meditate. At first, people visited him. They tried to talk, to wake him, to bring him back. But Veer didn't move. Not when it rained. Not when storms tore through the forest. Not even when wild animals circled around him at night. Days turned into months. Months turned into years. And slowly, people stopped coming. Stories began to grow. Some said he had died long ago and his body was just sitting there. Some said he had become something else, a wandering saint, a spirit, or worse, a curse. Children were warned never to go near the forest because those who did claimed they heard whispers, not from the trees, but from him. 20 years later, a young boy named Rohan decided to find the truth. Unlike others, he wasn't afraid. He had heard the stories all his life, but curiosity burned stronger than fear. One evening, just before sunset, he entered the forest. The deeper he went, the quieter it became. No birds, no wind, just an unnatural stillness, like the forest itself was holding its breath. And then he saw him, Veer, sitting exactly as described, unchanged, not older, not weaker. His body looked frozen in time. Dust and leaves covered his clothes, but his face remained calm, peaceful, alive. Rohan stepped closer. "Are you real?" he whispered. No response. He circled around him slowly. And that's when he noticed something strange. Veer wasn't breathing. At least, not normally. His chest didn't rise or fall. Yet there was a faint warmth around him, like invisible energy. Rohan reached out his hand, just an inch away from touching him. Veer's eyes opened. Rohan froze. Those eyes didn't look human. They were deep, endless, like staring into something that had seen everything. "Why have you come?" Veer spoke. His voice was calm, but it echoed unnaturally, as if the forest itself repeated his words. Rohan stumbled back. I just wanted to know why you stayed here for so long." Veer looked at him, and for a moment there was silence again. Then he said something Rohan would never forget. "I wasn't waiting. I was leaving." The air suddenly grew colder. Rohan's heart pounded. "Leaving? Where?" he asked. Veer slowly stood up for the first time in 20 years. His movements were smooth, almost unreal. Beyond noise, beyond pain, beyond everything that makes you human. Rohan felt fear creeping in. "This isn't peace," Veer continued softly. "This is emptiness." The trees around them began to shake. The wind returned, but it didn't feel natural. It felt alive. "I stayed too long," Veer said. "And now, I don't belong there anymore." Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled. Rohan stepped back in terror. "Go," Veer said, his voice now urgent, "before the silence chooses you too." Rohan didn't wait. He ran, faster than he ever had in his life. Branches scratched his skin. Shadows moved beside him, and behind him. He heard something. Not footsteps, not chasing, but whispers. Hundreds of them. When Rohan finally reached the village, he collapsed. People gathered around him. "What did you see?" they asked. Rohan looked back at the forest, trembling. "He's not meditating," he whispered. "He's trapped." The next morning, the villagers went to check. But the banyan tree was empty. No Veer, no footprints, nothing, just silence. And from that day on, sometimes when the wind passes through the village at night, people swear they hear a voice, soft, calm, calling out from the forest, "Stay a little longer." This story isn't just about meditation, it's about balance. Silence can heal you, but too much isolation can consume you. Veer didn't just escape pain, he disconnected from life itself. And when you cut yourself off from emotions, people, and reality for too long, you don't find peace. You lose who you are. The real lesson is that growth doesn't come from running away from the world, but from facing it, healing within it, and staying connected to what makes you human. If you enjoy stories that reveal powerful life lessons, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to stay updated.